My first time testing my wood box cooker. So it has a 11 by 11 inch, 8.5 inch cooking area. So I have a large pot in there. It's a pressure cooker that I painted black. And I have 4 mirrors right now that are 11 by 11 inches. And this is just this particle board, 1/8 of an inch with tin foil over it. And then I have this cool arm system. I take these strong clothespins, and this piece is glued to the box, but this piece can slide up and down, and that can change the angle. So the sun is over there right now, so it's over in that direction, and it's over in this direction. So these 2 mirrors are steep, and these 2 mirrors are not as steep. And it's taking, when the sun comes in on this angle, takes it and reflects it in. And when the sun comes in here, when it's low, it reflects and bounces in as well. And it's heating up very quickly. It's been in there for about 2 minutes. It's at 61 degrees Celsius. So I just put the bread in the solar oven. I had it up to 121 degrees Celsius when I preheated it. So I have the bread pan is on 2 other bread pans that are upside down at the bottom just to raise it up because the hot air is at the top. So I designed this oven to hold like a large pot of stew. That's why it's quite tall, but I can also bake, I think, 2 or maybe 3 loaves of bread in this oven. So that temperature gauge is measuring 113 degrees Celsius air, and I can really watch the bread rise. So now 18 minutes in, the bread's really rising. I'm not adjusting this at all. I'm just leaving it outside. I don't have to watch it. I don't have to worry about it being burnt, and the sun is really baking this bread very well. An hour, it's ready to take out. It smells really good. When I took the glass off, I could really smell all that fresh baked bread smell. Now when the oven's cool, I just flap the mirrors down, and they have an order in which they go down. And there you go, nice and compact. I've seen the bread with a little bit of butter, and it tastes great. So solar baked bread, just amazing. So this is the oven portion of the solar cooker. So a pot's gonna fit in there. It's actually, this is a lid for the pot. It gets very hot. I'm just curing the paint, but this pot lid with the pot will go in there. It's very hot. It gets up to about 75 degrees just in the sun by itself. Now, what I've done here is I've covered this in charcoal, white glue, and water paint that I made myself. It's non-toxic. It's a nice flat black, so all the sun gets absorbed, and it's getting really hot just with the sun. So there'll be a piece of glass on top of this. I'll have reflecting wings that'll fold down, so they fold up. I'll probably have 2 sections on all sides and corner sections, and that will magnify the sunlight that's going in. And then I'm going to build a structure out here, about 4 inches of insulation. And the bottom already has the 4-inch gap, so it's going to be on top of a sheet of plywood here, and there'll be 4 inches here of insulation going all the way up into the bottom. So all sides will be insulated. And I should be able to get very hot. I should be able to cook a lot of things. I can have 2 bread pans in here at the bottom. I can have a nice big pot for stew. I can cook just about anything in there. Something else that's really important, you see all this black on the outside. This is high temperature silicone. So I use the high temperature silicone to seal all the joints to make sure this is perfectly airtight. So when the air heats up in here, it'll move around and it'll try and escape. If it's airtight, then you seal in all that heat. This is all the silicone that I put on here in all these spots. So basically I put my whole head in this oven here, and in a very light room to see where the light came through on the joints. And if light came through, then I smeared silicone until it was nice and black in there and no light got in. So that should be enough to seal all the hot air in there. So I have the solar oven finished and the insulation frame. So I started off by just taking this insulation. It's about 1 inch thick. It's some plastic fabric type insulation that you use to stuff a pillow or something like that. So I started off with this insulation, and I'm just testing it with unfocused light, so there's no mirrors. I will be adding mirrors on both sides, all 4 sides actually, to concentrate the light into the center. I just have the lid for the pot that I'm going to use in there, and a temperature gauge. I'm just watching as it goes up, and I'm seeing if it makes a big difference. If this insulation works well, I'm going to buy some more so I can fill out this case. I'm going to put a lid on it so the heat can't rise out of the insulation, and then I'm going to add the mirrors to focus more light so that it could get even hotter.